Hey guys, this is Vengeful Parrot here from Two True Reviews, and today I'm just continuing on with my Dead Rising 3 gameplay footage. So if you are squeamish at all, or you don't like any gore or anything like that, you may just want to listen. Listen to what? Well, I've got some news for you today, and that news is basically a follow-up to a piece of information that I did a video on previously. And just to recap that video, there is a game coming out on the 18th of March called Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Now, this game is basically part one in a two-part game setup. The second part is going to come out later on, and that's going to be the core game. This is basically just a prologue. I'm honestly not entirely sure why they decided to go this route with the game, but I guess they felt it was necessary. However, the news that I did my first video on, it basically makes it sound almost as if the entire Ground Zeroes experience is basically just going to be a demo that you pay $40 for. That's the bit of information that I did my first video on. Now, you may be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, like I said, the physical copy of the game, during the time that my first video was, is supposed to be $40. Now, that being said, the digital copy was only, $20 or $30, depending on whether you were getting next gen or, or I guess last gen or current gen. So if you did PS3 and Xbox 360, it was only going to be $20 for the digital. If you were doing the Xbox One or PS4 versions, it would have been $30 for the digital copy, I believe. Now, all of that being said, the big issue was that the recorded time, approximate time for completing the main story was, just 2 hours. Like, that's all that was pretty much available from the main story. And people were freaking out. Understandably so. Why would you pay $40 for a 2-hour game? And Hideo Kojima came out and said, hey, that 2 hours only reflects the game's main story mission. It's not really fair to judge it by just that. There are tons of, different side missions and that kind of thing that you can complete that will add to that playtime. Which, again, is understandable. I mean, you can't exactly judge a game like Skyrim, off of the simple fact that, there's X amount of time out of the main quest line. I mean, if we did that with Skyrim, then the value would seem pretty crappy as well. So I understand where he's coming from. Metal Gear Solid 5, both Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain are a first in that they are a open world experience. That's never been done before for a Metal Gear game. So, again, it's really understandable why he's saying that. However, it's the fact that it's a first that scares most people. They're kind of not sure about, how much content there actually is going to be in regards to, side missions and all that kind of stuff. So, you can't help but wonder, is there actually going to be enough, side content to make up for the fact that there's only a 2-hour campaign? And people were freaking out about that. I made a video about it, like I said. And Hideo Kojima listened, and he responded. The physical copy of the game is now only going to be $30, which is great to hear. However, personally, I kind of feel like that's still too much. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it kind of depends on how much side content there actually is. So, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about it. I guess I'm just going to have to wait and see, kind of like everyone else. But, like I said, in my personal opinion, $30 still kind of seems like too much. I mean, let's say that, there was only about 8 hours of side content, which is a decent amount, you know, considering the only 2-hour campaign and the fact that this is supposed to be a prologue. But that still only would total to about 10 hours worth of content for a $30 price tag, or $20 if you buy it digitally. And again, that just seems, I don't know, unfair almost. And I still have to go back to the why are they releasing them separately to begin with kind of question. Like, why do they feel it necessary to include this seemingly very short prologue as a separate game? I mean, I know gamers are, I guess, used to being nickeled and dimed to death at this point. I mean, and I say used to, meaning that we're used to seeing it. Not that we like it or agree with it, but that's another topic entirely. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Like I said in my last video, I am planning on doing everything I can to get my hands on a copy of that game, so I will be reviewing it. And if you're interested in seeing that review, you will want to stick around and, you know, subscribe to my channel and everything. That way you know when it gets put up. If you really want to keep track of everything, you're going to want to also like my Facebook page. That's where I put updates on, you know, out the most. As far as anything else that's currently going on my channel, I do just want to let you know that I am going to be putting up a third video for today. It's going to be all about Lego games, you know, what's good about them, what's bad about them, all that kind of stuff. If you're curious as to why all that kind of gobbledygook, you're going to want to go not to last Saturday's, but the one before that, and watch my weekly update video. There'll be more details there. And as far as the article for this news story, that is linked in the description below. So if you're interested in that, you can click there and read away. And that is just about it. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. This is Vengeful Parrot, signing off.